we get started, I have some admin points that I need to run through with you. The first one is, we ask that you don't take pictures of the front of the warehouse and post it on social media. This is a security risk.
We've been mistreated and scorned cause the color of our skins. Battered and beaten up and called all manner of things, yeah. But one day you'll pay for raping our mothers and slaving our fathers. Then justice shall be done on that great and judgment day, yeah. One day on, freedom must come. One day on, and victory will be won. One day on.
I'm Hetty, I'm from Freeman, Somerset. I'm here at the Le Berge de Migrants warehouse. We work in partnership with Help Refugees, which is the British charity helping in Europe and the refugee crisis. I'm head of operations here in the warehouse in Calais, so running the logistics in the warehouse and supporting the distributions out on the camp and supporting all the projects and other organisations, working with them together in this situation, both in Calais and in Dunkirk. I need somebody who was doing the sorting yesterday. Hands up, people that were doing sorting yesterday. Okay, 1, 2, 3, could you step forward? We get everything under the sun here, from corsets, wedding dress, soiled bedding, high heels, but also a lot of amazing things come through. We get brand new 3 to 4 season sleeping bags, tents, we deal with hygiene kit stuff, we deal with lots of clothing, food. We've got a kitchen at the front of the warehouse which is run by another organisation with us. We have a food packing area, providing food packs and identifying community kitchens within the camp and providing for them. We do a bit of everything here. We've upscaled to this bigger warehouse and we've been here a month and a half maybe now.
How big is the warehouse?
I'm not a mathematician, so I'm rubbish at describing sizes. This big. The warehouse we were in before was probably about half the size, and as anybody knows who has ever moved house, when you get a bigger house, you find the stuff to fill it. So we've done just that. There were moments in November when I was worried because suddenly our pile was down, some of the racks were empty and we were going, what are we going to do? We had loads and loads of large clothes, but there were not many, there were like a tiny proportion of large people on camp who we can give 20 jumpers and 50 jackets to each of them. Mostly it's small and medium men on camp and we didn't have that stock, so we can't make people line up for an item that won't fit them. There's an attitude sometimes with aid where it's, well, they're in a bad situation, so let's just give them anything, ripped clothes, unfitting clothes. Actually, the reason everybody is giving and the reason that you support this is because you don't condone the conditions of the camp. You say this is wrong and we stand against it. And therefore we are going to provide dignity and we're going to support that dignity by respecting those individuals in the camp. Not just giving away castos. As you know, the reason that you're here is because you care. So let's have that basic standard and that minimum, value for the people that are there, at least.
Very good. And what kind of things are you short of? What do you foresee in the near future that you're going to be needing?
We always need tents, and those are the 2 to 6 man kind of size tents. The smaller they are, the better. When they're like 3 man's really good because of the space in the camp, finding somewhere to pitch, and also the wind is really bad. We know tomorrow we had 2 tent and tarping teams out today, but the wind's been really bad today, so we're going to have a lot more. A lot of tents blow off all over the place. The big ones, they're much more prone to being attacked by the wind. So if they're smaller, we can tarp them over, get the sand dug in around them and have them a little bit more secure. But you do always need tents. We need funds for the building project. More than anything, we would love to house everybody. Le Berge de Migrants.
What, sorry?
The housing project. Okay. So the shelter project, Le Berge de Migrants and MSF. So MSF had a design for some shelters, which we've been building their design. We also have prefabs made for self-builds, they're called, which are buildings that are put up by the people in the camp, the refugees, migrants, whatever you want to call these individuals. They put up their own house and it's good, they want to be involved, they're active, and they have so many skill sets. These are engineers, these are architects, these are builders of naturally anyway. We have a building team who work on the camp. We also have a building allocation team, finding those that are most vulnerable, at risk and in need. So they work on the ground, constantly identifying space, mapping it out, working out fire breaks, safety, things like that. And they've learned as they went along because we're just volunteers, we're just ordinary people. I'm just somebody from Somerset. So we've really had to learn as we go, but you know the impact that we've made hopefully has been good, and we're adapting and we're responding to the situation as it comes. So finances are really important for that. In the fires that we've had in the jungle, 2 of them affected over 200, about 200 people each time lost their home. We need to be able to respond like that. At the moment, it's great. We've had a great response over the last 2 days with tents coming in, amazing. But often that shelf is empty. We support Dunkirk as well. So when we have eight tents on our shelves and we have, you know, maybe 30 people coming in the evening to Calais, another 50 coming in at Dunkirk, we had 50 new arrivals today during the day in Calais. What do we do? What do you say to somebody? What if there's then a fire and there's 200 people without somewhere? We can give them emergency housing through the theatre dome or some of the community kitchens, but that's not going to last. You know, those run and they need to function as well. They need to feed people, so we need those people to be housed. So tents are really important, but also the building, the finances. Build homes and to respond in emergencies, really important. Blankets, thick blankets, 3 to 4 season sleeping bags. As wonderful it is when we get any donation, some donations are, people say, oh, let's get en masse. It's better to get lots. We'd much rather you got less but good quality. Because if you give us a sleeping bag that's a 1 season summer sleeping bag, we then have to give extra blankets anyway. So it doesn't actually save in donations. So if you are going to, please use your funds wisely. Please pay attention to the lists. We want to make sure that your support is being put exactly where it needs and it's going to have the biggest possible impact. And I know that's what you would like as well. So 3 to 4 season sleeping bags, thick blankets, tents, roll mats, tarpaulin, always very, very important. Small items, so small men's waterproof, thick waterproof jackets, small waterproof trousers, jogging bottoms, small and medium, smaller trousers as well, 28-inch, 30-inch waists. With shoes, it's really bad and really muddy on the camp and in Dunkirk as well. Wellies, whilst they're a great idea in practice, we wear wellies because we go out for a walk and then we come back. When you're wearing wellies a long period of time, the cold is going straight through the rubber. It's freezing, even when you're wearing lots of pairs of socks. I used to work as a fundraiser, street fundraiser, and I made the mistake of using wellies during the winter, and it's really not good and you can't support your ankle. It causes all sorts of foot issues. So walking boots, 42 and 43, we're in desperate need of those sizes. Again, like 80% of the camp are that size. And trainers as well, really important. So, you know, if you're going to get something, please. We don't need 45s, we don't need 44 shoes. We've got loads of them. We just don't have the feet to fit them.
Okay, and how many people are you catering for at the moment, and how many people arrive in each day?
So it's very hard to judge the numbers precisely. This is an open camp, obviously. Various things have been changing as we go. I would say there's about 6,000 people on the camp. At top, we had around just over 7,000. We have people leaving for emergency housing, seeking French asylum. Several hundred people leave maybe a week doing that. We also have people moving to Dunkirk because they think it's easier maybe to cross. There's a lot of families in Dunkirk. Don't bring children's stuff, we've got tons of it. But we have, like I say, we thought it was slowing down, the new arrivals, maybe 20 a night. But from just today, what's happened, it's hard to judge. But I would say it's around 6,000 people currently in the camp, at least.
Okay, 6,000. And what's the proportion of men, women, children?
90% are men. Also in Dunkirk, I'd say there's about 2,000 people right now. 90% of the camp in Calais are men. We have just over, our Women and Children's Day distributions, which run from a women's centre in the jungle. That caters for just over 200 women. We have a slot in the morning, a slot in the afternoon. It's a ticketed event. That's on Monday and on Thursday. But again, particularly with the children, we have so much stuff. We were getting children's donations coming in way before any babies were around on camp. So we're okay with that, but we do need to be able to keep the men and women warm as well. So.
Yeah. So it's mainly small men.
I'd say, yeah.
And
I think England is on a diet, or Britain, because they're sending us lots of large and extra large, which is amazing. It's great. And I know the idea is, well, surely you just layer up. But, you know, a really large trousers, even with a belt, really impractical. And it's more likely to drag in the mud, and a large jacket, you can't build, you can't cook. It's just not practical. So please, yes, you know, if you know anybody that's small, ask them to donate.
And then, what about volunteers and helpers here?
Yeah, we always need hands. Whether you're coming for a few hours, few days, or weeks or months, it's amazing. Really, we're thin on the ground on long-term volunteers at the moment. A lot of people have gone home for Christmas, which is totally understandable. But it's very hard because we've got so many different things that we're doing to have somebody who understands the system and to support it run efficiently. So if you can come for a week or 2 weeks, that's so valuable. You will learn so quickly and you'll get to do so many different things within what the organisation does within the jungle and here. You learn how things work and you're able to support any incoming volunteers and the processes to continue efficiently and effectively. So please, if you can spare a week or 2 weeks, that is gold dust for us. We've got a lot of people at the moment because it's Christmas break, but sometimes, in November we'd be lucky maybe to have 8 on a weekday. I'd say if you can make it a weekday, that is really great if you can.
So you struggle during the week, during normal?
We can, yeah, during your average kind of week, we struggle for volunteers during the weekday, and because we still have the camp is still going on, we still have the demands that we need to meet in the camp and in Dunkirk. We struggle with people, having enough people to help us fulfil the needs. We support MSF. There's scabies on the camp, so we give them packs of men's clothes to support the scabies, so we've got that we've got to fulfill, as well as the distribution centres that we operate in the jungle. So we need to be able to sort the clothes, prepare them, run the distributions. There's so many different things that we are doing and facilitating.
And can the guys from the camps themselves, can they not volunteer? Do you not?
So they work
recruit?
on the camp, as we say, they help with building their own houses. They also help us with the distribution centres. They're a combined effort, and they are fantastic actually at helping us with those distributions and self-distribution. One of the other distribution methods we are employing now is community spokesperson distribution. That's identifying members who are in charge of, say, understanding the needs of 15 to 100 people maybe. They identify those needs, they give us a list on a rota basis, we go in and we distribute with them to those people, and they're very supportive in that. They want to do that, they want to help, which is great. So yeah, we do within the camp itself, we have a lot of people from the camp working and volunteering. Remember, these are people that are illegal in this country. We can't cover them on insurance, so we can't have them in the warehouse, which is sad. I'd love them to sort because they'd be the best sorters ever in the warehouse. I would love to be able to say, hey, everybody from the camp, refugees, come and sort. We're not allowed to do that. We're just not allowed. We wish we were, because they would be the best at it.
Okay, so there's a legal problem.
There's
there,
legal issues
yeah,
related to that.
even if they're volunteering, they're not able
Well,
to
we
help.
can't cover them with insurance for a start. So
Right.
if something happens to them, there's issues for our building, how we run, and with them also the local council has to approve and certain things. So it's complicated. But where we can, particularly with any distribution going on in camp, any assessments going on in camp, any of the building going on in camp, we absolutely engage with the people there and to work with them and communicate with them in a partnership. It's not about giving a hand out, it's about giving a hand up. We
Yeah.
are here to work together as a human being, just the same to another human being. That's what this is about. So, and they can often help us with translation work and things like that as well.
What do you think the governments are doing, and what's going to happen over the next couple of months?
Well, there's different things going on as far as the government's concerned. In France, obviously we've recently had some elections. It was quite worrying to see such a huge proportion of National Front opinion-based, and I understand that the pressures in this area for people, particularly in Calais, but I feel the blame shouldn't be on the people that are here. They're running from war. They are actually the people, the Kurdish, who take up the majority of that camp, are the people that we've been given the guns to fight the people we don't like. They're fighting ISIL. They are fighting ISIS for us, okay? And now it's getting too much, and they're coming with their families, and they're seeking our protection. There's people from Afghanistan who are translators with the army, and now they're being denied support, even though they were promised it, because you didn't work, you worked for X, Y, or Z amount of months, but not 2 months extra. There's so many. There's just red tape. Think about how much you hate red tape at home, how it winds you up. A lot of these people are stuck here for those reasons. And at the end of the day, whether they're a migrant, whether they are a refugee, they're a human being. We have a responsibility to act to the humanitarian crisis that is here. Our governments are getting so caught up in the political mess. If this was in another country, if this is in Syria or this is in Sudan, we give aid to those countries, which is great. It needs to happen. And we say, it's humanitarian, regardless of the politics, this needs to happen. But in Europe, it's not happening. Why? Because we say, but it's our politics now, so now it matters. Now we can ignore the humanitarian issue. So in January, we've got the camp moving in Dunkirk, being moved to another location, which is going to be interesting. We've got in Calais, there's this new government section of the camp that's been built, which only houses 1,500 people. What is going to happen to everyone else? What are they going to do? They're hoping to clear it by then, so we're not sure how they're going to do that, where their responsibilities lie. At the same time, this charity, along with others, as a group of organisations, a coalition of charities, have sued the local government here, which I'm sure it made the news, to do with the sanitation and the basic rights of the people in the camp. That will probably heat up again as they are getting denied. In England, there's debates going to be happening in January. I know about everything that's going on in Europe, everything that's going on as well in terms of our human rights. So with the Conservatives trying to scrap us out of that, I feel so ashamed. We were part of building that. We helped build these declarations. And, you know, to say, oh, well, they're not perfect. Well, if they're not perfect for our country, then it's not perfect for any other country. Human rights are human rights. Let's try and adapt them. Let's try and improve whatever declarations we have in place or standards of human rights. If they don't fit for us, then they shouldn't be fit for anybody else. So if we're not happy with them, we need to work on that. We don't step away from them. The moment you step away from them as a country and say, we'll be the highest power in, you know, accountability for your rights, that's very risky, because if your government infringes on your human rights, who have you got to complain to? We need to work together as Europe, as United Nations, so that if our government does something against us, we have someone to go to about that. You want to step away from that? You want to risk yourself? If you've ever complained about your government, you shouldn't now turn around and say, I completely implicitly entrust them with my rights. That's ridiculous. If you're not happy with how Europe is treating your rights, let's deal with it, let's fix it. What's astounded me with the financial crisis and everything, we've got so many examples of people insulating themselves away, saying, let's protect ourselves, let's support ourselves. When has that ever worked, really, truly? If something is broken, let's fix it, let's work together. We know more now. We know that I may be, you know, born in Somerset, but that doesn't make up everything that I am. I am the history of every other human being that has come before me. I am that collective knowledge, and I have so many different roots and links genetically and otherwise from across the globe. Let's not be so close-minded as to say, I'm going to sit in my corner and deal with my health and myself. Because my health and myself is affected by others. We know that. So let's work with it together. With everything that's going on here, that's you, that's me, we're just regular people, and we're recognising a need, and we're saying, I respect my human rights and I respect those of others, because we're all in it together. It is phenomenal, the things that have occurred here, and that is just ground force, grassroots, people being a part of something, a bigger picture, and giving and really caring about another person, regardless of whether your government is listening or whether the media are portraying whatever they're showing you. You know, you can see, you come and see for yourself what your impact has. It is amazing. All of this, all the systems built by people, built by ideas. We have such a capacity for so many great things. This is an unprecedented situation in Europe. It is the right side of history that you are standing on with us here today. So thank you so much.
Okay, I am Arya. I am from Italy, and I've been put in charge of this massive clothing pile, which is basically all the clothes that are coming from different donations, different sources, and they're not sorted. So we're sorting them into boxes. These are accessories. So you have like boxers, scarves, gloves, and then here we divide up between male and female, and then they get divided. So anything that is large gets put away, and that goes to the Cash for Clothes box. And in the Cash for Clothes, we get money from those donations. So everything that is not used here can go there and still be used for money for this camp. Yeah, so that's what they're packing over there. Once these boxes get full, they get transferred into a box that will be redistributed amongst the refugees and the migrants that are in the camp. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So there's kind of a chain of people. Usually there's about 3 people on every side, sorting into the various boxes, and we have got 2 people who are bringing the boxes to then be brought actually to the refugees and migrants at the camp. And here we've got people sorting between male and female. That's pretty much it.
How long are you here for?
About 4 or 5 days.
You seem to know what you're doing within that time, yeah?
I think I got kind of lucky. I think I knew what I was doing, and somebody gave me the orange vest, and that's how it kind of happened.
Okay.
Somebody left right when I was coming in, like the day after I was, like she left the day after I arrived, so.
And what you find you've got most of?
In terms of clothing items? I guess there's a lot of large large clothing that we don't really need because they're quite small in the camps. So there's a lot of waste. There's also a couple of silly things, such as suit clothes or dresses or high heels, which is completely unnecessary. But a lot of people are like, oh, we'll just give it and they'll know what to do with it. But that usually gets chucked. Yeah.
Does that not go for cash for clothes? Though?
That goes for cash for clothes.
So
yeah.
it's still useful.
It's still useful. It goes into the it's still useful. Yeah.
For a degree because.
Till it, yeah. It just takes a lot of time sorting all of this, and that's why I think it. Yeah.
And
It would be useful if people who give donations would already label the clothes. So like men trousers non-waterproof medium. That's a helpful tag because then we know where to put it. So this system is here in place because none of this is sorted.
what things would you need more of? Maybe do you know?
Waterproof, definitely waterproof. Definitely warm sweaters. This is, for example, very useful when people send this because these are very helpful, and it looks like they've sent in a bunch. So that's excellent. Sometimes we get big deliveries of just brand new gloves, which is really useful because sometimes people give their old gloves and then they've got holes in them, and that's not very useful. And that goes in the cash for clothes crate. I think trousers is a big issue, especially because of the size. So we don't get the right sizes. Yeah.
This is a perfect box with all men's medium jumpers that are thick and they're all folded and already packed and organised. So all we have to do now is take them out and put them in the next box rather than go through this whole system here.
My name's Paul Stevenson. I come from Scotland. I'm working here in the kitchen, all volunteer led. You can see we're very, very busy this morning. Lots of people chopping all the donated food. We get this from various sources. From people driving from the UK to dropping off stuff, people with businesses, restaurant businesses dropping off and stuff. We then turn that into food for up to 2,000 people. We get volunteers here every single day. We get an awful lot at the weekend, so we would love to see people coming during the week to help out. We don't get as many. We get various donations. The main thing that we use is, you understand, we're dealing with people from various parts of the world. So from Africa to the Middle East, all over, Sudan, Eritrea. So there's a varying palette of tastes. We use an awful lot of spices. We would love spices. We use an awful lot of vegetables, an awful lot of rice, couscous. If you want to volunteer, best thing to do is come early in the morning. We open up at 8 o'clock in the morning. Come to the warehouse or get in contact, send an email so that you can coordinate coming. Come here, turn up, and join the wonderful group of volunteers that make it all happen. Thank you to everybody, because this kitchen wouldn't run if it wasn't for the donations and all these volunteers. Completely unpaid. The only thing that we get out of this is seeing the people fed and seeing the meeting. So it's just a big thanks to everybody for their continued support in this, because it's not going away anytime soon.
My name's Tom Gilbert. I'm from London.
You're from London. How long have you been here, Tom?
Just over a week.
Just over a week. And can you tell me what goes on in here?
Well, this is our workshop. We're just building the frames and doors, floors for the buildings that are going to be put on site for the refugees.
Where do you get the materials from?
They get purchased. We have a little bit of funding for the main materials like the woods, a few of the screws, but we do run out occasionally, so it does stop every other day. There's a lot of what do we have, what can we use kind of materials. Like today we ran out of screws, so we had to go to the shop and go purchase some. We do get a lot of donations, but it's a lot of stuff that we don't need, so it kind of gets in the way. It's very great people bring in doors, but there's no way we can hang them because our structures aren't strong enough for these type of doors, so they kind of just get left to the side. But it's things like screws we need, certain lengths and sizes of timber if people have them lying around the house. stuff like that.
Okay, so screws, nails, hammer, you got all tools,
We
you
got a lot of tools, but because they are donations, a lot of them aren't up to scratch, so we have to spend time fixing them. Like today, we've got this gentleman in, one of the other volunteers. And the thing is, we are all volunteers, so it is a case of I'll be in charge this week, and then I'll have to tell someone what to do when I leave. So it's a case of we don't have permanent staff.
Right, okay. And have you, because it's the Christmas holiday, do you find there's quite a lot of people here at the moment?
Yeah, we are swarmed in the
Warehouse.
in the warehouse. Yeah, there's loads of people. It's great. Like, we need the people. Like, because the more people we have here means the more people we can send to the camp as well, which makes a difference. Getting to chat to people, find out what individuals need. Because, like this week, I've been doing drops to the schools.
Schools?
Yeah, there's 4 schools on
There's
site.
4 schools on the
There's 4
site.
schools on the site, and I think there's another one coming middle of January. Someone's bringing over a double-decker bus, and they're going to kit it out.
Oh, right, I didn't know that. There's 4 schools on the site.
Yeah, there's schools. So that's the thing, is like school supplies, they get forgot about. Like in the workshop, in the warehouse, there's pallets of school supplies, rucksacks, stuff like that that's been donated. But everyone focuses on the clothes, obviously, because people need clothes.
We bought loads of books, children's books, but then they're not. You're saying they won't be distributed.
They will be distributed. It's just when people got time, because obviously clothing and accommodation is more important. But at the same time, education is still quite important.
I would say education is more important because you need to get out of the situation you're in.
Yeah, definitely. But that's the thing. A lot of the people here are very educated. Like doctors, teachers. The amount of people that have turned up to help out is great. Like, they've come from all over Europe to come help out. We've had a couple people over from America as well this week coming to help us out. So yeah, the more people that come over to help, the smoother it goes.
I reached up, I now have no return. The liberation of my people is my main concern. Only if we come together, stop fussing, stop fighting, stop killing each other. If all wars could cease, away with man-made disease. Human killing them no make no sense. You better be ready when Jaja trumpet sound. I know have the time to stick around and play around. Be ready, because we're moving out of town. No more in a Babylon we roam. You better be ready when Jaja trumpet sound. I know have the time to stick around and play around. Be ready. Just get ready. I'm saying what I'm saying, yo, with no delaying. Police and soldiers on the street, and innocent they slain, leaving mothers and children and even fathers crying. People are dying, and there ain't no denying. And what I'm saying, it's just like I see what I mean. It's only who feels it knows it. Get a grip, and please do something about it. On top of my voice, I'll be screaming and shouting. A revolutionary soldier, ain't no joke about it. Anywhere I go, I'ma let the whole world know. You better be ready when Jaja trumpet sound. I know I have the time to stick around and play around. Be ready, because we're moving out of town. No more in a Babylon we roam. You better be ready when Jaja trumpet sound. I know I have the time to stick around and play around. Be ready, because we're moving out of town. No more in a Babylon we roam. Be ready when Jaja trumpet